Hey Amy, it's Max Clausen, and I want to give you a real quick look at what's going on in the market that's in competition with town square lofts. So, I'm not going to do an in depth market analysis on your unit until I see your unit, until I see what it has to offer, so that I can compare it exactly with what the competition is. I want to see your upgrades uh, and how things have changed since it's been was built. So if I do a real quick look at what is out there, and I just say, hey, let's look between $200,000 and $300,000 attached housing in a certain geographic area, and I'll show you the map in a second. But I come up with 15 houses, and if we go to the map, since I didn't really limit things, I come up with these two are not really comparable because those are more townhouses that have nobody above or below. They might even have a little yard, and they are just row houses that are attached to their neighbor on the side. These are the new competition for town square lofts. For such a long time, when I was selling town square lofts, there was nothing east that was even competitive. There was nothing. And now there's these buildings up here that are a little bit north of Green Valley Ranch. And if we just take a real quick, I'll show you the difference. I think they are comparable to Town Square Lofts, but Town Square Lofts has more to offer, in my opinion, because these have the central staircase without a elevator, and so the third floor people have to climb up the stairs every time to the third floor. And the other thing that they don't have is covered and secured parking. So you can drive your car right into your parking garage, go up the elevator, and go into your house without being exposed to the weather, and that's not an option for anybody that buys in these units. So they are comparable on the inside as far as they can be very basic. If there's been no updates, they can have honey oak cabinets. This person has upgraded the countertop and the backsplash, and maybe the flooring there. We talked about Catherine Stefan. I've had a couple other people, Mike Neff, Catherine. I can't think of all of them right now. I think 3 of the last handful of properties I sold had total remodels on the kitchens with new cabinets, new appliances, everything new, basically ripping out all the kitchen and replacing everything. This one has updates, but not a total remodel. So that's the kind of thing that I need to look at when I visit yours to see how yours compares to the others. So if we go back to the map, in this area, there's these to the north, and they're even further out than yours. We get enough pushback from people when they say, oh gosh, out there at Town Square Lofts, these guys are another couple miles from you. So it's that geographic location that's challenging. And then these down in Aurora that are off of Colfax are very comparable. They still have that apartment building. It's a nice looking building, but interior staircases with no parking. And then if we go into Stapleton here, these are income controlled properties, basically affordable housing that's deed restricted to how much it can appreciate. So, there's just not a lot out there. So that's a good thing. The challenge that I've run into consistently on Town Square Lofts is that people they set up their search engines, their automatic searches, and when I interview people, I say, okay, where do you want to look? And they'll say, well, I don't want to go north of I-70. That's a very common thing to say. And if they don't want to go north of I-70, their Town Square Lofts is never going to show up on their search. Even though it's 400 or 500 yards away from I-70, you don't have the noise of I-70, but if they put this line as far north as they're going to go, that's never going to show up. The same thing, a lot of people will say, well, I work in Denver. I don't want to go east of I-225. I don't want to go any further east. And so my challenge has always been to show people, it's like, gosh, it's not too far outside of your search parameters. You should really take a look, because there's a lot of value there. You can get a lot more bang for your buck if you just go that extra mile and look in Town Square Loft. So I've figured out ways to market to people to have this show up on their searches, even if they say, I don't want to be north of I-70, I can make it show up on their searches. So it's kind of a spamming kind of a thing, but that's how I get interest. And I have nothing over here in Northfield Stapleton. Even though those are comparable units, they're much higher priced. They're above $300,000 to get into there. So you got to convince people, and they say, I want to be in Stapleton. And they say, well, if you just drive past Montbello and turn up there on Chambers, you will get a lot more bang for your buck, and in a very nice building. And that's always been the case with Town Square Lofts. So I just want to give you a quick update on what's going on. There are two properties in your building that are 2-bedroom, 2-bath that are for sale, and they're in the 230s. Whoops, sorry. They're priced in the 230 range, and nobody's going to buy a 2-bedroom, 2-bath without looking at all of the 2-bedrooms, 2-baths in the building. It would be silly. You got to put yourself in the shoes of the buyer. Would you buy one in Town Square Lofts if it was 2-bedrooms, 2-baths without looking at the other 2-bedroom, 2-baths? So yours, as far as the size, is larger than both of those. Parking spaces, you have 2. Both of those only have 1. And I just need to look at yours and compare and see, and I'll do a much more extensive look at those along with other comparable properties to help establish the value of your property. So I just wanted to give you a quick overview, and I'm look forward to meeting you on the 19th.